one of you who are present in the call to have helped us circulate the message to all the students, getting us a very big registration. I'm not sure if you are aware of it. As we closed the registration gates on Tuesday night, we had 17,600 registrations from over 49 colleges across the country. So thank you so much for this. And they form a part of close to about 3,500 teams. So that's a very big number. And we are really happy about it because this is what is going to help us in identifying the right talent. At a very high level, what is the agenda for today? As you know, some of the colleges have already participated Jatayu last year, where some colleges we signed up with you this year. Jatayu is a competition wherein it is not the regular hackathon, but this is more from an idea to industrialization competition. I have the expert, Senior Vice President, Mr. Giri here, who is going to talk more from the competition. But at a very high level, this competition is going to help the student understand the big picture and then work on it. And eventually, they have the opportunity of even going for the patenting or starting their own company on the problem statement that they have worked on. Example, I myself, along with Rajkumar, most of you know, we have worked out on one of the use case which we feel that it is very, very important for the students. Now, this use case, if a student is able to work on it, he can even build a VR company. We are talking about AR, VR as a service, wherein we are talking about how you can give an experience. Today, everything is virtual, right? Right, sitting at your office, can you just switch on and then get to feel what an office or a college or an environment looks like? Go there, people will be there, just knock the door and then they can talk and a lot of things. So like this, we have some interesting use cases that all our mentors have put across. And today, they are going to talk about the use case. So from each of the SBU, Strategic Business Unit, we have a representation and each of them are going to take 5 minutes to explain about the use cases that they have given because we have only 1 hour, so we need to ensure that we are able to cover everyone. So we are going to give 5 to 7 minutes for each of the SBU to talk about the use case, followed by we will open it for questions. So with this, I would like to have Mr. Giridhar open the conversation first. Giri, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you are able to hear me.
And we can see you as well, Giri. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. First of all, I would like to thank all our faculties, respected professors, uh, teaching staff, and also my dear colleagues and mentors who have made this first launch a very successful one. It's very heartening to see 17,000 plus registration from across the 49 colleges, and it's not an easy task, right? As we have a huge scale, it's always that we have to have the vision in terms of the platform as well as the outcome of this Jatayu has to be a very fruitful and a pleasant experience for all of us. Keeping that in mind, as Krithi rightly quoted, that we have designed this track in such a way that it's just not one of a kind of hackathon, but it's more of a continued learning and a continued touch point with the industry. That's what Jatayu is all about, learning new things, doing experimentation, and working on the greatest and latest technologies so that when we want to take it to the market, together we can build solutions which are very close to the customer problems today. So all the use cases we are going to present today have the relevance of customer, and with that background, I would like to invite all the mentors to present the use case so that you can have a better understanding of what we are trying to depict in that use case and the problem statement at a high level. Thereby, the first stage, we expect the students to submit the, I would say, the abstract, and that would be evaluated individually at the college level by you all. And without your help, we couldn't take that to the scale that we are looking for today. So, dear faculty members, we request you to be the mentors at the college level, and in the second level onwards, when the students come on board for proof of concept, that is when the Virtusa mentors will come into play. And then from there onwards, we will move into the industrialization phase, which is very exciting, where they will be interacting directly with the Virtusa wider ecosystem as well as with our customers to make this a product or a solution which is accepted at the industry level. So with that, I would like to request John from our team to open up the session with the very brief at a high level, what are those use cases that we are doing it, and time is the essence over here. We are already 10 minutes past the stipulated time. So I would request all the mentors to keep the use cases very concise and keep it short so that we can cover all the 11 use cases. With that, I would like to hand over this to John. Over to you.
Thank you, Giri, and morning all my faculty, professors. Thanks, Giri, for the introduction. All right, so we have these. Am I audible? All right.
Yes.
So we have this.
Yes, John.
Yes.
Sir, I think it is not that much clear when sir was speaking.
Okay. Is it better now?
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So we have these 7 use cases from all our units across the organization as compared to what we did in season 1. So we have participation from everyone. We have around about 20 mentors across 6 units. So we have use cases from HR, as you can see the slide here, both technologies, Americas, health aspect, healthcare, basically banking and enterprise. So I would like each of our mentors to quickly spend not more than 2 minutes just to introduce the topic of the use cases, and then we'll probably go to the next step over there. So can I invite Raj Kumar from HR to quickly introduce both his use cases, please?
Hi, John. Good morning, everyone. So, yes, John, let's do that quickly, okay? Hi, team, okay? So, the first one is going to be the virtual campus 2. The crux here is, let me explain it quickly. So, we all know that for last 1.5 years or 2 years, we're all working from home, okay? And the experience what we had before pandemic and during pandemic was quite different. So what we need to build is a kind of platform, a configurable platform, user-friendly platform, using which I can able to build a campus 2, okay, kind of virtual campus 2. So it's something like people who come on board, okay, can able to see the campuses, the facilities what we have, the infrastructure what we have, and want to meet the leaders, okay, how friendly they are, how reachable they are, okay. And that might be we have where we want to go is this should be some kind of a platform in which to start with we want to do the campus 2, but going forward we want to customize this, and we want even for day-to-day meeting, day-to-day collaboration, okay, something like boardroom meeting, something like a regular stand-up meeting, okay, what we do regular in a project call, we would like to use it, okay, in the longer run. But in the shorter run, yes, as far as this Jetayu is concerned, this use case is concerned, we want to build a configurable campus 2, okay, using some latest AR VR techniques, okay. As long as possible, try to stick with some open source kind of tool, cheaply, cost effectively available tools in the market, okay, in terms of building this. So typically mobile based or the device based, device centric kind of solution what we are expecting to start with. And later, once we are able to see the prototype, then we can build a lot of ideas on top of it. So this is all about the first use case, virtual campus 2, okay. Any clarification, any doubts you might have? Fine. Anyway, we'll take up the doubt.
I think we can go through the end.
Sure. Yes.
We may be able to do it at the end. Please continue.
Yes, sir. So that's the first one. So second one is all about employee performance portal. So what's currently happening in any industry is whenever we want to capture the performance of a given employee, given duration, say last 1 year, last 2 years, normally go by the static kind of data being inputted into the system, okay. So, and moreover, what we are doing is an agile model, okay. We are doing a lot of great things in between, okay. Something sometimes not being captured properly, okay. So what we like to build is we want to build a kind of gamified system, gamified performance tracker system, okay, using latest cutting edge technology like your blockchain or smart contracts, okay? And you should be able to capture more details, okay? More real-time multimedia enabled details, so that I can able to get one 360-degree view of a given person, okay? And for a given time range, okay? You have done good, you have done bad, you have done average, okay? We should be able to quantify the person's performance by building a system like this. So for example, it's not that only based on manager feedback or some mails from a customer. No. On top of it, the system should have some quantifiable metrics. Okay. Suppose I have got some code base, some code quality tools. Okay. Some my codes are being created to GitHub repository. Can I pull some metrics and assign it directly with my given member's performance? Okay. Will give some kind of see where each one is standing in terms of the when compared to others. We want to build a kind of performance. So in order to give a tangy taste to it, we want to put blockchain into picture. We want to put the rewarding mechanism. So we all know I can able to build a virtual coin system, virtual currencies on top of my blockchain infrastructure. That too, I'm going for a private one. I'm not want to go to public one. I want to go to private one. Within private, I want to do that. Okay. So this is all about this portal, this use case.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Kumar. We'll
Thanks.
quickly move on. Thanks a lot. The next one is the technology where, which I'll just cover through briefly. So we're looking at with the announcement of Facebook's Meta, there's a lot of hue and cry about the the emerging technology here. So what we're asking in here is to today's even with the post COVID, we have people going online, students being online, and there's little or no interaction. It's just images there. So what Meta is and everything explained there. So two things in there. We want to create avatars that can interact with each other, do some writing on the whiteboard, basically an extension of your Zoom meeting, which can be more live. So that is one of the things. And the other one is digital twin. For example, this is useful when you have an industry model or simply a house lighting model where you can go in there and detect where faults are. So if you have a twin replica, a digital replica of what is there in real life, things can be easily sort of investigated, and we can sort of fix issues easily. And Giri actually gave an example earlier. If you have, the model of a block in a residential complex, and the amount of, or even a factory, and what is the sort of the what is the power consumption for that particular factory, and if you want to scale it and know what would be if instead of 10 factories, a digital twin will be useful over there. So we can get into details that no ending this topic here. This is one use case. The other one is to do with artificial intelligence and privacy. The big talk today is all about data privacy. So how can we arrest this? And with Europe, for example, not sure many of you know GDPR compliance talks about they are saying in Europe that the person's personal details are to be taken off the public for more reasons than one. So how can we address how can we use unless we know a person, for example, for ad camp campaigns, how would we know what product sells unless we know certain personal details of person? So without attaching, so anonymization brings in that aspect where a person's details removed from the person. So it's called de-identification of it. So this is just that ways to bring out privacy with AI, because AI is going really big and concerns are always also there. So for people to continue adopting it, we have to create that trust in the community, in the user community, so that this would be scalable and also be secure in terms of. So how would we use data without attaching it to a particular individual, which can be misused? So that is the main concern. So privacy over there. So these are the two use cases from technology west. I'll just quickly move on to the health aspect. Ram, are you there? Santosh, anyone from health domain?
Yes, I'm here, John.
Okay, over to you, Ram. Thank you.
Yeah. So hi all. So this is one of the two healthcare use cases. So what we are trying to achieve here is, so in the USA especially, right, when physicians are actually contracted with certain health insurance plans, health insurance companies who are called as payers, and the physicians and hospitals themselves are called providers because they actually provide the medical service as such. So here we are more interested in the physicians, not so much on the hospitals, but more on the physicians, the general physicians and then the specialists like cardiologists, neurologists, and so on, psychiatrists and nephrologists and so on. So what we are trying to do here is we are trying to actually leverage blockchain to do real-time data change cascading to the health insurance company and to the covered members. So the doctors and hospitals, the providers of medical service, the providers, they actually get contracted with the health insurance company and they become in-network providers or contracted providers for the health insurance company. So let me call them as in-network providers going forward, or network providers as such. And the same health insurance company is making contracts with employer groups and individuals on the other side. So the employer groups, employer companies who pay premiums for their employees, they will be one of the categories of consumers, and the other category of course is the individual paying premium for self and dependent, self and family members as such. In any case, the ultimate beneficiary is the employee or the individual and the dependents as such. So the idea is, whenever there is a change on the physician side in terms of data, it could be an address change, it could be a qualification upgrade or a qualification change, or some other change to do with a doctor or a physician. So we want the data change to reflect on a real-time basis on the side of the health insurance company and also become transparent to the beneficiaries and members covered by the health insurance company. So that is what we are trying to achieve here, and this is one of the key problem statements, real-time industry problem statements that the industry is looking into, that many players in the industry are actually working on and trying to come out with different solutions for actually. Okay, so different other technological possibilities and channels have been tried out, but blockchain, I think it definitely does offer a great deal of I think robustness and strength in terms of how this can be done and achieved as such, right? And so yes, that is one part of this, and then I think the other part is of course how this can be extended to dealing with member side data like electronic medical records and electronic health records, which will have data on appointments and scheduling and cancellation and so on, and also data which will include image data from radiology like CT scans and MRI scans and X-rays and so on, and also other text-based reports like laboratory test results and so on. So EMRs and EHRs will typically contain laboratory test results and radiology test results. Plus, we are also dealing with different standards like DICOM and a few other standards in which the images and other data, text and other data are being exchanged. So the main part of this use case is how can we do provider data change, real-time synchronization for the payer and for the covered members, and later as a lower priority, how the blockchain usage can be extended to hold and manage member side data like EMR, EHRs, which can also be extended to the drug clinical trials and device clinical trials and so on later on, okay, in different phases or waves as such. But the initial focus is going to be on doctor data change and how it will be made to reflect on a real-time basis on the health insurance company side and the member side as such. Yeah. So can we move on,
Thanks, Ram.
John? Okay.
Yes.
Do you want me to cover the use case also now, or?
Yes, please.
Okay, so that was use case 1. So the group on the call, so use case number 2, right? So again, we are looking at 2 broad categories of populations here. One population is the people who are not yet affected by any chronic condition. So we call this people the healthy population as such. Okay, and we categorize them under general wellness and preventive medicine, preventive education as such. So these are populations who are aware that they do not have any chronic condition and who are investing time and effort and actually trying to stay fit, right? I mean, trying to stay away from conditions like obesity, conditions like, I mean, lung conditions and other chronic breathing disorders caused by smoking and smoking tobacco and other substances and so on, right? So this is a health conscious population aware that they are not yet affected by any chronic disease, at the same time involving in exercises. It could be going to the gymnasium, it could be something like running or jogging or cycling and so on. So they will be using wearable devices and Fitbits to track how they are doing, how many kilometers they are covering, how many calories they are burning and so on. And they may be transmitting the data back from their wearable devices and the Fitbits and so on, or from their mobile apps, mobile phones. They may be transmitting data back to their health plans in order to try and get some member incentives and member rewards and so on. So one of the categories that we are covering under this connected health topic overview is the general wellness and preventive medicine segment for healthy individuals as such and groups as such. The other important category is the people who are already affected with chronic conditions. So you can think of a diabetic patient having to use a glucometer. You can think of a cardiology or a cardiovascular patient having to use a pulse monitor to monitor breathing rate and pulse rate and so on, right? I mean, systole, diastole of the heartbeats, right? The lump and dump or the systole and diastole as such, right? So there are different devices, different wearable devices and monitoring devices employed by patients suffering from different chronic conditions. I took the examples of diabetes and heart disease as such. So these individuals are put into case management programs, okay, at the level of the individual, or they are put into disease management programs at the level of groups, like say all men aged 65 years and suffering from diabetes for 5 years and hypertension for 2 years, right? Something like that. So it's a group of say men aged 65 years or and above suffering from diabetes for 5 years and hypertension for 2 years and so on. Yeah. So we have a comorbidity scenario where we have diabetes and hypertension existing together, and we are addressing people with similar demographics, similar age and similar gender, right, and suffering from similar combination of chronic conditions. So how can diabetes, cardiovascular disease or hypertension and other diseases be monitored using wearables and Internet of Health things or IoHT, and how can real-time data be transmitted back to the health plan and to the clinical side, and how real-time intervention and preemptive proactive care can be sought so that cost is minimized and emergency department visits are minimized and patients' health and life condition are kept in good levels and not in deteriorating levels as such. That is broadly this use case, catering to healthy segments on one side and chronic condition patients on the other side. So that is a synopsis. Of course, happy to discuss further specifics when we get into more pointed discussion. So I will take a pause there and hand it back to John. John, over to you, please.
Thanks a lot, Ram. That was very self-explanatory. Thank you so much. And we'll go to the next technology east. Any presentation from the Ishanta, I think. Anyone from technology east? Okay, I'll try to cover this. This is basically trying to create an app or application where you engage with people who are available to work sort of part-time. So these are basically, as you see on the slide, electricians, plumbers, anybody, domestic help. So the entire model that is used is the Uber model, where people can just sign up on the app. People, instance, electricians, and then the people requesting help like ourselves who need the help. Something like the urban app model. So this is what this particular use case is all about, and what I got from the team that are presenting this use case, it's useful for their individual clients there in the East Coast. So and just that's basically what this use case is all about. It's very self-explanatory on what this is. So I'll just quickly move on to the next, which is which is the hotel reservation system. This is again very straightforward, where you have booking available. Can I request everyone to go on mute, please? Okay. Okay. So
John, you have to unmute yourself. Sorry, I muted everyone.
okay, sure. Thank you, Giri. All right. Did I cover the first two use case? Was I
Yeah,
there?
Yeah,
Okay.
you are only for the second one.
Thank you. I'll start again with the hotel reservation system. So this is again pretty straightforward. But what is required here is a mobile app where someone can register with the available hotels depending on the rooms. So something like GoIbibo or Booking.com. That's the kind of thing that is expected here, and I think that's pretty much what is expected. It's pretty straightforward. We can take questions at the end of this. So I'll move on quickly to the next banking. Jitendra, are you there?
Am I audible?
Yeah, sure. So go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, John. So the first banking use case is about stock market prediction. So this is more about predicting stock market performance based on multiple different factors. So it can be like how it was performing previously, how was the effect of some particular events, like it can be natural disaster or it can be some politics related things, some policy changes or some other issues like demand supply. So various factors affect stock market in a much higher way. So the intention here is to create a kind of tool which tries to cover and go through all these things using artificial intelligence, some heuristic techniques, machine learning, and if you have anything very good that you feel that can be helpful, you are free to use that. So the importance is that whatever tool you are creating, it should be having more accuracy. The use should be easily be done. It should be flexible in if you want to integrate with something else, it should be easily integratable, as well as some changes are to be done, it should be easily be done, and time efficiency. It should not take much more time that the data becomes unusable. So these needs some study on the stock market factors as well as the technology. So by doing study of this, you can create a very good tool for this. Moving to another use case, that is loan approval prediction model. So bank, one of the important income for any bank is having loan or giving loans. They want to give loans, but then at the same time they want to make sure that whatever loan they are giving, they are profitable and they are not at risk. So in order to calculate risk and define that this is going in a proper way, there are some available processes that they go through, which needs a lot of human intervention. So the intention is that somehow if we can automate possible processes so that least amount of human intervention is needed. Along with that, there are a lot of informations available from past, and if we can use those information based on some patterns, like if a person is from a particular sector and if he is working in a particular thing, and the history says that these kind of people, they are more likely to be defaulters. So if that pattern can be detected, then the risk can be evaluated before approving. So we need to study a lot of the factors can affect, and based on it we need to create such kind of tool which helps to take a better decision and the risk involved when approving the loan. So yeah, that's it from my side. Back to John.
Thank you, Jitendra. Appreciate that. All right, going to the last but not the least use case. Do I have Srilata on call?
Am I audible?
Yes, sure. Go ahead. Thank you.
Hi all, this is Srilata here, and this is the use case for the VIB portal, VIB insurance domain, where we are looking at. And in brief, this is related to when we onboard new resources to the projects. At that time, we wanted an RPA where it will trigger notifications and all the processes automated. Like this should, like for example, see if there is automated mail that need to be triggered to the IT team, and there should be an automated mail that needs to be triggered to the background verification team and the HR process to come up with the email ID and the employee ID, etc. So we wanted this all to be automated in a way so that the things will go seamlessly integrated across all these operational systems. Yeah, we can also use like any of the Microsoft or the nice systems, you know, where they are there, like with these features. Okay, I think that's all from my side. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Srilata. That covers all the use cases. I'll just give you a summary again of all the use cases. So we have from the top. So starting with the first HR use case, the virtual campus studio, then the employee performance portal, then we have the metaverse interaction model, then we have the AI privacy, moving on to the blockchain for health data management, then the connected health, we have induction comparables, then we have the handyman app, the Uber model, and the hotel reservation system, the banking, we have the stock market prediction, the loan approval prediction model, and the employee onboarding process automation. So, request the students to submit the POC to us as per the process that we will be ending in a minute now. So this is the template that we use. You can use as many slides as you want, but these are basically the segments that are going to be used. Start off with the business need, opportunity, much like the template we used last year. Many of those who are already there, but for those who have joined us just this year, these are the 4 segments. You can use as many slides as possible. the business need, target segment, the analysis of the market, and then present the idea in a nutshell, and then what would be the success criteria and the business impact. That's basically the template that we are expecting. I think early Jan. But yeah, over to Kriti or take the Q&A, or if you want to add anything.
John, I'll pitch in actually. Yeah, thanks a lot, John. So, thanks, mentors. I think it was very useful, the insights that you have given. I know there will be a lot of queries regarding the use cases. What I suggest is, if time does not permit here, for all the interactions that needs to take place on a use case basis, we have created a platform where you can all come and collaborate with our mentors. So as you have seen, for each use cases and technologies, there are mentors who have specialized in this, both from the domain side of it as well as on the technology. I know technology, you are all there. We don't have to really handhold that. But from the domain standpoint, if there are any help that is required while you are constructing the abstract, please you can reach out to our mentors for any clarification, because I know this could be something which you may not be very comfortable, and the mentors who have worked day in and day out in that particular domain can really help in building this abstract better. So again, the intention is to bring that entrepreneurship inside the student, and they will be able to take this problem statement like a true startup, and then they will identify the business opportunity and the need, go after that solution idea, which will eventually get realized for a period of time. That's the intent behind submitting this abstract. So, my dear faculty members, you can be their guide and the mentors while they are taking this journey. I know it will be a beginning for them, but a lot of good ideas need to be slightly polished before they really become a true potential to itself, right? That's what we are trying to achieve over here. With that, I think we still have 15 minutes left. If there are any questions, or if anything that will be a very generic in nature, which can help others as well, please feel free to pitch in. I can see some hand going up. Please go ahead. So unmute yourself and you can stop.
Hi, this is Dr. Sriram from VIT Bhopal. Is there any necessity for open source solutions, or can the students work on some proprietary platforms as well?
Dr. Sriram, that's a good question. In fact, while we design some of these use cases, we have kept in mind that most of it can be achieved through open source or some of the tools and frameworks that are available out in the market. So that way you don't have to get constrained by the proprietary platform or some of the tools that may really become difficult, right? When we are talking about IoT, for example, last time also there were questions around, can we use some kind of a simulator instead of using the real hardware itself. Right? I know it's very difficult for us to get the medical devices. That's where we were brainstorming with Ram as well. So for all those things, what we can do is we can use simulators as much as possible. But the intent over here is how we can build an end-to-end solution without getting constrained by the platform or the tools or the hardware. That's the idea actually. So they can use open source definitely.
Thank you. Simple, small follow-up question, please. In terms of your domain, especially in terms of the anonymization aspect, there is a lot of research that has already been done. So should the students focus on large volume of data sets and prove their outcomes, or is it more of a research output or an end-to-end solution that you're looking for? Thank you. Thanks a lot. It's been a great experience.
Sure, Dr. Sriram, that's a very interesting question. What we are looking at is not the industrial scale, right? When we are talking about the POC, even a simple demonstration around how the anonymization can take place, which are conforming to GDPR. If they are not even aware of GDPR, we can help them to coach them on some of these standards that are prevalent in the market and in the industry today. But more importantly, what we would like to hear, and this could be wonderful original ideas that might be coming in. Last time also, when we opened up such a discussions around content moderation, very original thought process came. In fact, those students have started their own company now, which we are currently supporting them on how they can curate the data and remove the toxicity from that, which was never existent in the industry till today in that fashion and in that form. So similarly, if there is any option and if there are any bright ideas around bringing homomorphic kind of algorithms or encryption algorithms, or if there is a way to anonymize the data which can be easily shared using an MPC model or a multi-party computing model, we would like to hear, because academies are the place where the primary research takes place, and you have wealth of information and IPs that industry can best leverage it. I would like to highlight one thing: if there is a co-patenting or co-creation, co-innovation opportunity, we'd be more than happy to invest into it, and you can be rest assured that your IP will be protected through Virtusa. We are the strong believers in that open innovation ecosystem.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Am I talking to Madhukar sir?
27th.
Sir, it's slightly coming very low.
சப்மிட் பண்ண சொன்னாங்க 27 அன்னைக்கு காலேஜ்ல அப்ளை சப்மிட் பண்ண சொன்னாங்க கிட்ட செகண்ட் நீங்க வந்து அது செலக்ட் பண்ணி மாத்த சொன்னாங்க
I think the voice is getting muffled up. Will it be okay to again you are getting muffled up? Yeah, while we are getting to the line now, we are
Sir?
I think still there is a network problem, sir. Dinesh sir, go ahead.
Sir, are the students allowed to submit only one problem solution, or are they allowed to do multiple solutions?
So the way we are looking at it, sir, Kriti can also jump in over here. All the filtration will happen from the college side. We are not going to restrict how many entries can come per use case. But what we would like to definitely see is for all the use cases, there will be submission from the college. Otherwise, there won't be, extra bonus or the points mechanism that we have built in. You will lose out on that weightage part of it. So ensure that all the submissions for all the use cases will be there. And on the limit part, I will request Kriti to answer that, or we can come back to you in terms of how many you can submit in the portal. For all the clarifications, sir, and keeping the communication very transparent and clear, we would like to keep everything on the portal, and so that when we are doing it at scale, it really becomes very difficult for us to communicate as well as stay very consistent, right? So in order to avoid those confusions, all the deadlines, all the checks and balances, as well as the rules of the game, everything will be published online for your reference. You can log into the portal and get all the information. But beyond that, if you would like to have a conversation, there is a collaboration opportunities on the platform. At any given point of time, you can post your queries, and our mentors will get back to you ASAP.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Good afternoon.
Good morning, sir. Good afternoon.
So, sir, as you said that for all the use cases, there must be one, at least one participation, right? Need to be done. So here in this, there are total 11 use cases, but categories are 6. So can you please elaborate?
When you say categories, this is more from the BU level. So the segmentation, if you look at it, that's the the business units who have given these use cases. It could be a banking domain or it could be a healthcare domain. So the domain wise you are seeing 6, but within these domains there are 2 use cases. So
Yes,
that's how we have fashioned it.
So,
the answer.
I need to ask if the students have, from our college, the students have selected only one use case per HR, in HR example. Second one, no one opted in. So in that case, is it okay, or they need to select, means we need to finalize at least 2 use cases from HR?
Oh, in that way you are asking. So that should be absolutely fine, sir. So if they select at least one use case per domain, that should be fine.
Means at least we must have 6 domains, 6 use cases per domain into the number of selection copies which we will use, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
But the more you submit, sir, the chances of they getting into the next level will be more. That's the idea behind it.
Actually, no, last time we have participated and our college also got one selection out of the best 5. So the last time also the same thing happened. One use case was not selected by any of the students, but we forced them to select. So that's why I'm asking.
Absolutely, sir. If they do that, then what I said is the weightage would be more. And also, sir, what we have done, as you might have seen in this season also, this has become a premium channel for them to enter purchases. And the way it's not going to be just another kind of campus placement, but this is going to be a very differentiated offering. So they will be incubated into what is under higher pay scale, and that way they will be rewarded and they will join the Elite Club. So the students from our last season who are they join us, they have already been working with cutting-edge technologies, and especially we have a solution center now which is becoming even more strategic for our business. They will be part of this research and solution building exercise. So that is the opportunity the student will get. In fact, one of the winners from our last Jatayu session was able to present it to the CEO himself, and he is very much excited about this whole opportunity and the program itself. So this is getting a direct visibility at the CEO level to answer your question as well. So we are pretty much keeping a focus on all these domains, all these use cases, and taking it very seriously into any market. Go ahead.
இப்போ என்னன்னா இப்போ 27th வந்து ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் அப்ஸ்ட்ராக்ட் மட்டும் தான் சப்மிட் பண்ணணும், வேற ஏதாவது சப்மிட் பண்ணணும்.
அப்ஸ்ட்ராக்ட் மட்டும் சொன்னாங்க. அது உங்களுக்கு
we are having a very bad network connection for the cursor. I know you've been asking for the deadlines, so I think Arnold, can we share those deadlines which are there in the portal itself? Right? Can we flash that portal just once again for everyone's benefit?
Yes, Kriti. You want me to share my screen?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yes, yes.
Sir, excuse me, sir, one more query. May I, sir?
Go ahead, sir, please.
Sir, I have one more query. Suppose for one use cases, maximum how many PPTs we can select from our side, from college level?
You mean how many abstracts per
Yes,
use?
yes. Per one use case. Because last time it was 5, I remember.
Same thing stays, sir. So that is also Arnold going to publish it. That's where I requested him to bring in the portal rather than get a confusion around it. We thought we'll bring in the portal itself.
Okay.
So this is how the timelines look at over here.
Yeah. Go ahead, Arnold. I think that would be a good one.
Yes, these are how the timelines will look at. Yes, these are how the timelines would look at it in terms of from where we started and where would be going across. So towards the end over here, stage results of POC stage 2 on 20th Feb will be announced. Post that, depending upon the college academics and curriculums, I understand that will have your exams. We will have an industrialization phase where students would be engaged in doing would be engaged in doing whatever they have done in terms of the use cases. So it can be a live demo depending on how your academics permit you to do. So in case if there are any challenges, you have to keep me informed whether any kind of practicals or examinations. Hence I have not included the industrialization phase towards the end, which will go for the entire month of March. Any questions, anyone? Because I understand many of you had doubts even when I had shared this docket with each one of you.
I think I can see hand getting raised.
There is one use case, one team per use case per institution, is it? I'm sorry to ask this again.
So this is for the abstract case you are asking, sir?
From the single point of contact, we evaluate, for example, we have 100 presentations from us. We evaluate them from the institution side. We recommend to Virtusa a few projects for consideration to the next step. So, how many teams can we recommend from our side?
So, maximum 5 recommendations per use case, sir. So, what will happen? Tell you the logic behind it. If you look at the way we have structured our mentors and their load also, we have 3 mentors per domain. So if you look at per domain, there are 2 use cases, right? Now if I have a submission of 5 per use case, then there will be 50 colleges. So I have to go through close to 250 use cases or the abstract submission. Right, that's the math that we are trying to work out. Is it possible to filter through it and then give our best effort over there? Or if there is a way to eliminate and bring it to that. So if there is too much of submission we are coming in, we can control it. So otherwise, depending on the situation dynamically, we will keep it from 1 to 5. That's the range we will work it out. But go for maximum submissions. We would like to see as many submissions as possible than not seeing at all. But let's cap it at 5. That would be my humble request.
So effectively, a college can submit 55 or 5.
Per use case, let's limit the submissions to 5. That's what I'm trying to say. So then totally it will become 60 submissions per college.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
ஒரு யூஸ் கேஸ் நம்ம எடுத்துக்கலனா
எல்லா யூஸ் கேஸையும் கண்டிப்பா எடுக்கணும்னா எல்லாத்தையும் பண்ணணும். எல்லா யூஸ் கேஸும் பண்ணணும்னு சொன்னாரு முதல்ல. அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து இப்போ இன்னொரு கேஸ் ஒரு பிசினஸ் மேல 2 யூஸ் கேஸ் கொடுத்துருக்கீங்க. நான் ரெண்டுமே
சரி நான் கேக்குறேன் 6 யூஸ் கேஸ் ஒரு யூஸ் கேஸ் பண்ணல 6 டொமைன்ல ஒரு டொமைன் பண்ணல அது ஒன்றும் அப்படி விடாதீங்க. மினிமம் ஒரு டொமைன்ல ஒரு யூஸ் கேஸ் அப்படி விடாது. மேக்ஸிமம் நீங்க பண்ணுங்க அவ்வளவுதான்.
Actually, we should separate at the individual college level and capping it up because that will put them in a disadvantage. So my take on that is let's stay at the college level, not medical group.
Okay.
I know we are on top of the hour. I am sure there will be many questions, but feel free to reach out, and we are all here to support you. And once again, thanks for this excellent encouragement and the support. This wouldn't have happened without you getting more energy, and we respect all of your time, your effort, energy, and this is a very humble beginning. A lot more to cover on the ground, and we'll stay connected. Thank you so much for your support, sir. I really appreciate, and from on behalf of merchants,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Go ahead, sir.
My voice is audible, sir?
Yeah.
Sir, I am Master from CMR Technique. Sir, I have said that for college you have to give only 5 teams are sufficient. Fine, sir. The thing is, sir, if suppose some students not registered, they have done very good abstraction. We can include them, sir, if possible, with the scope of what is the JIT.
You mean to say if they are not registered, is there a way that we
They are not registered, but they have done very good abstract. Is there any chance? Is there any solution? Is there, sir?
Sure.
We have to limit only 5 teams. We will limit only 5 teams.
No problem, sir. If there are any exceptions,
Internally we can do it.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, fine. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. As long as it is the system, we are okay. So please ensure with Arnold that they are there on the system. Otherwise, our mentors will not be able to see them.
That's what, sir. Means I mean to say only one thing, maybe they are not interested in that. Maybe they have done very good project at abstraction use case. We can recommend one replacement.
Absolutely. Such provisions we will be flexible enough to accommodate those exceptions.
Okay.
Sir, excuse me. One more thing. Sir, suppose there are some students who have formed the teams, but in case if we need any addition or deletion of the members of the team, then they can do it directly or they need to update somewhere in the portal or somewhere else.
So what I will request is, since this is a very large program, please encourage your students not to get dropped unless it is really an unavoidable circumstance. In that case, they have to take permission from Arnold. In the system, they have to make certain corrections. So let's limit that. I don't want that to be very
Dropping is not done. Okay, probably addition can be done. So that's
addition or edit will be a challenge because Arnold, he has other things to take care of. So this should not become a major challenge for him to handle the backend. Because the system support does not support the edits or deletions. So that's the only problem they are having.
Right. So whatever the students team was found, I'll tell them to be in that team only. Do not add any more students in that particular.
Absolutely.
Maybe they may form in the that is secondary, but the committee they will not be issues.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. So, thanks for all your questions. I know we have extended for just to be respectful of everyone's time here. Just trying to conclude, but nevertheless, I would like to take again this opportunity to thank all of you and for your active participation and your time. Thank you so much. Looking forward to working with you all on this exciting journey. Thanks everyone. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
immediately
Sure, I'll join on that.
Sure.
Two slides and
Thank you.
4 slides and you can go to the number கேட்டுக்கலாம் 100
ஏதாவது டவுட்னா கேட்டுக்கலாம் நம்பர்
யார் ஆக்சுவலாக அருணாள் தானா
ஆர்கனைசர் ஒரு நம்பர் கேட்டேன் அவ்வளோதானா வெயிட் பண்ணுங்க ஏதாவது கொஸ்டின் கேட்குறான்
கவுண்ட் பரீஸ்
அவ்வளோதானா
கவுண்ட் பையா